Chidimma does not sound like any South African name. No, it does not. I don't think she's from South Africa. We need to check this girl. We need to check her. You know, I think the black man actually has plenty wahala. Like, honestly speaking, you see, Africans, we get problem. And I don't think it's a problem that's just going to jail and spending a long time in prison is something that it's something that would solve that problem. Honestly speaking, I think it's a thing of the mind. I really don't, because I don't get it. Honestly speaking, only heaven knows what Nelson Mandela is doing in his grave right now. Anyways, guys, before I go into the core of this video today, how are we doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Kiwi Show. It's nice to have you guys back, and I am your favorite darling, Jessie Rogers, here again. And if this is your first time seeing my face in front of your screen, how about you click that like button? Do not forget to subscribe, and of course, share. Do not forget to share, because there is love in sharing. But most importantly, give me that thumbs up button. Anyways, a few days ago, right, there was this news about white South African high school kids auctioning their dark classmates. They're, a classmate of theirs that is a black South African. So they were auctioning their classmates. Okay, in case you guys don't understand what auctioning is, I'm going to give you a literal example. You know, back then during the the slave trade era, how the whites were, selling black people for manual labor and stuff like that, selling the black people into slavery. Auctioning is like, even current days we have auctioning, but it's mostly for artifacts, it's mostly for artworks, objects. Okay, and when we're having an auction, the particular item up for sale is given to the highest bidder. Yeah, that's how auctions work, in case you do not know. So what these white students were doing with their black classmates is called selling to the highest bidder. They were selling their classmates to the highest bidder, a human being. And I mean, that's crazy. But now, guess what? Some other parts of Africa didn't flinch. They didn't care. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be reading some of their comments for you under the particular post. So, some people were of the opinion that, so what's the fuss about this? Isn't the country built and owned by the whites? I mean, I always laugh whenever I hear black South Africans brag about the country. They own nothing in that country, okay? Now, another person said, South Africans have a high population of whites to blacks. In addition, most of them don't even like people of their own color. They rather give all that support to the whites. Anyways, slavery took a different turn. It never went extinct. Now, somebody said, if you know the black South Africans, then you understand that they deserve these treatments and more. Another person said, I'm bothered. Another person said, this is a normal situation in South Africa now. There's a crazy gap between whites and blacks in South Africa. So I think this is even the worst comment of them all. He said, in my own opinion, I think South Africans deserve worse than this. So Malema lost his voice talking sense to them, but instead, they voted for their slave masters. Can you now imagine that? If you see where and how they're proud of voting for their white masters, you will give up. One said, Malema lost my vote when he started praising Nigerians and other foreigners. That is, the foreigners is black foreigners too. So this is how other parts of Africa this is how they express their own feelings towards that situation. In other words, they didn't care. They couldn't care less if South Africa likes, let it burn. And you, who's probably new to this situation, watching right now, you'll be wondering, but why? Why would other Africans behave like that? Someone even said that, after all, they hate their fellow Africans. In case you don't know, I'm going to tell you why most Nigerians and some other parts of Africa reacted the way they did in these comments. Now, I don't know how many of us remember the xenophobia that took place in 2019. Yes, it was 2019. I want you to take a look at these videos.
I hate foreigners and the government is doing nothing.
And this is our leading anti-migrant group, Operation Dudu.
We cannot be undertaken by foreign nationals and do nothing about it. Something needs to happen.
We are coming for you.
Hundreds of people have traveled from across South Africa to attend today's conference.
Oh, I'm hoping to hear that all the foreigners are going.
We must be realistic here, that most of the problems that we have are caused by the influx of foreign nationals. I'll be honest with you. In some instances, we need to really be.
So you can clearly hear someone say in that video, I hate foreigners. And she was even crying. Now, these foreigners, mind you, are the black ones. Oh, a lot of Nigerians died back then. Nigerians living in South Africa, oh, they died ruthlessly. They died ruthless deaths. And I mean, it's crazy. So you can understand why most Nigerians and some other Africans are not really interested in whatever that wants to happen to South Africa. Now, we also have the current case of Mrs. Chidimma. Sorry, not Mrs. And we also have the current case of Miss Chidimma, Venessa, additional. Now, this Miss Chidimma case is what has sort of like stirred up emotions in Nigerians. Like with this whole thing that happened to her, I'm going to tell you what happened to her in case you don't know. With this whole thing that has happened with Chidimma, you know, a lot of Nigerians have been reminded of what happened in the past, and they keep asking, why are these people like this? Are we not the same people of color? Aren't we one Africa? I don't get it. What is the issue? Why are they so pinched? Why are they so pained? What is going on? Now, mind you, so that we don't we don't make this thing look like it's a general problem in South Africa. Before I proceed, this thing is also, it plays out everywhere, okay? So before I proceed, I want to make something clear. The people who are doing this thing, who are perpetrating this evil in South Africa, all right, have already caused the stereotype of, you know, painting South Africans as people who hate their kind. Now, the people who are actually good, the South Africans that are actually good and are not behaving in that manner, that do not hate their kind, they are not visible. Their voices can't be heard. Like everybody in South Africa now is now painted as that same, you know, painted in that same category as people who hate their kind. And it's almost like the same thing that is happening. So you know it's not just in one part of Africa that it's happening. It's also like the same case here in Nigeria, where we have some Yorubas and some other parts of Nigeria saying, oh, Igbos this, Igbos that. In fact, Igbos get out of Lagos. Okay? That they want Igbos to leave Lagos by so and so time. Like they don't like Igbos, they hate Igbos. You see them say a lot of things online against Igbos. Now, not all Yorubas are like that. But because of repeated events and the number of Yorubas who have come out in the past to do that, a lot of Yorubas now are tagged tribalists. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So this whole thing is not just happening in one part of Africa. You need to understand that it's happening in most parts of Africa. And we Nigerians are not free either. So let me continue with my story. First of all, you know, before we go any further, let me talk about Chidimma a bit and how she got herself into this mess and this whole entanglement situation. Now, Chidimma Venessa Adesina was born in 2001 in Soweto, South Africa. She was born to a Nigerian father and a Mozambique mother. Now, the funny thing about her Mozambique mother is that some sources claim that she's actually from the Zulu tribe in South Africa. But then some others are like, oh no, she's actually Mozambique and Mozambican, and she naturalized in South Africa. Not that she is, you know, from South Africa. So the thing is, the issue about her identity has not necessarily been settled yet. But how did the spotlight get to Chidimma's mother? How did the spotlight get to her, you know, her descent? How did it get to her lineage? Sorry. I will tell you how. This girl had already risen to, you know, a recognizable position in her modeling career. All right. She was contesting for Miss South Africa, and she got the eyes of people. I think people started like voting her or liking her, like, this girl's pretty, you know, like, oh, damn, girl, you fire. And then some South Africans are like, Chidimma. Chidimma does not sound like any South African name. No, it does not. I don't think she's from South Africa. We need to check this girl. We need to check her. I think like that was how the whole thing started, and then the spotlight came on Chidimma immediately because, I mean, she had an Igbo name and then she had a Yoruba name for her last name. Tricky, isn't it? Now, here's the thing. It doesn't matter. It actually really doesn't matter whether this girl was Nigerian or not. The fact was that she is born South African. You're claiming, oh, her name did this, proves that, and proves what? A lot of South Africans that are from different tribes, some of them answer English names. And if they go outside the country to represent the country in Olympics, in games, or in pageantry, or whatever, nobody's going to stop them and tell them, oh, I think you're from because you look South African, even though your name is English or whatever. Nobody's going to do that. So how are you doing that to your fellow African? And the fire they gave this girl, oh my God, bro. They gave her serious fire. Serious fire. To the point that aside from accusing her mother of identity theft, that hasn't even been confirmed. Aside from that, they made petitions against, like, they wanted her off that show. They wanted her to leave. They made petitions and all the horrible things they were saying online. It was shut down. Nobody really wanted to pay attention to it. But then she started receiving live, threatening messages. She started receiving threats. Are you serious? Are you people serious right now? So the girl had to be careful, man. She was like, you know what? Okay, that's it. It's now too much. My life, how? And she decided to respectfully bow out. Like, I'm done. I'm not going to kill myself. Okay? She leaves the scenario. And when you think about it, it's actually very sad that this kind of a thing is happening in Africa amongst ourselves. We all have the same melanin in our body, in our skin. Why do we treat ourselves this way? I mean, if you think back to the xenophobic attack that happened in 2019, why was tagged xenophobia? I think it was mostly because of the fact that they were killing, foreigners, right? But now the thing is, foreigners that they were killing were the black foreigners. Those are the people they were out for. When you cry and you say, I hate foreigners, they want to take everything from us. Okay, fine, we get it. Why didn't you also go after the white foreigners? Because you can't tell me the white people that are currently in South Africa today, or like the white people that the white people in South Africa, you can't tell me that they're not foreign. They're all fucking foreigners. We all know the history and how these people got into South Africa and established themselves there. The fact that they established and, over time, their generations continue to come out more and more, and we're in the present age and we have more whites and than blacks in South Africa. So why didn't you, if you really hated foreigners, the real foreigners who have actually taken your country, you ignored them and went after your fellow black man? Gosh, you guys, I don't know how many of you have forgotten, but I think you should go back, visit your history, the internet, just visit the internet of 2019. Then you'd understand that a lot of black people were killed in South Africa. And for what? Exactly. What was their reason? There was no good reason. And that's exactly the same thing that was being displayed in Chidimma's case. And why do people do this? Because now it's not just a matter of, just South Africans, like I said before. It's happening in some other parts of Africa. But then the reason why South Africans are like a case study right now is because this has been a repeated cycle. Okay? This has been over and over, and it's happening in current day and age. Somebody will say, that was in 2019 now. Now things have changed. Can't you see? You're seeing it now, right? The reason why they're sending death threats to a model, beauty pageant girl, why they're sending threats to her is because she's not from South Africa, therefore she shouldn't contest for Miss South Africa. The reason why this country is being used as a case study, like I was saying, is because when you check the relationship between other African countries with each other, let's say, for example, Nigeria and Ghana, Kenya and Ghana, Jamaica, just like that, other African countries, and then you compare it with South Africa's relationship with other countries. If you compare it, you see that the one, South Africans and other Africans, is pretty toxic. Oh, yes, it is. Very, very toxic. In as much as, Nigerians, you said that, but Nigerians, this is that. Nigerians are too proud. A lot of people have, most African countries have a lot of complaints to say about Nigeria, but they marry Nigerians anyhow. So many of them are in Nigeria. They like having Nigerian friends. Yes, we know Nigerians, we have our own wahala, but we are still able to relate with other Africans. Nigerians are actually pretty accepting to foreigners self than its own people. Oh yes, if you check it. Nigerians are actually very welcoming. So at the end of the day, Nigerians don't really have problem with other African countries. But if you notice this, I don't know if it's antagonism or something when it comes to Nigerians and South Africans. I think South Africans are taking it too seriously. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it, really. Now, I'm going to remind us something. There was a time that there was this protesting that was going on abroad. Was it in the UK or in the US? So there was this mob, and the mob actually killed, like they just approached a black guy and they killed him on the spot. You have cases of white police officers shooting at a black person just because he felt uncomfortable. You have a lot of white people, they call them Karens, or they call them racist Karens, and they see a black person just because they're uncomfortable, and they're like, oh, you're making me uncomfortable, they'll call the police on you, or they'll do something. At the end of the day, the case will be struck out of court without justice being served. Now, what I'm trying to paint is the fact that these people, these foreigners, the Westerners, they see blacks as one. Be you from Nigeria, be you from South Africa, be you from Ghana, be wherever it is from Africa, all of you are the same to them. Black man. So why do we like to differentiate ourselves? They will say, oh, Nigerians actually look like South Africans, and some South Africans even look like Nigerians. Nigerians will be like, it's a lie. What do you mean? If you say Nigerian, you know, Joe. Things like that. Now, why are we so conscious of that difference? Why do we care? Because you see this thing that they're saying, oh, South Africans did to Chidimma. Let me now burst your bubble. Here in Nigeria, because the girl was later on invited by Nigeria to come and contest for Miss Universe Nigeria. She was later called in. She was invited. She never said she wanted to. She never begged Nigeria, please let me come and do pageantry for you. No, she was invited. And guess what? Some Nigerians are still trolling her, calling her desperado, saying all sorts. If scam was a person, there's nothing they have not commented. Still dragging the same girl. So now, what now makes you different from the South Africans that you're criticizing? Oh, damn it. Two wrongs don't make a right. Like I'm always saying this. So what's now making us different from the South Africans that, threatened her and kicked her out of the show? I understand Nigerian sentiments, the ones that are of the opinion that, oh, but there are people who have actually worked their butts off and they've been doing everything they can to get to that position. How is some girl from South Africa that didn't even make her country her first choice just coming and try to the girl never said she wants to come and conquer and destroy all the Nigerian models, or no. She just needs a chance to express herself. This is her field. It's what she knows how to do best. So is it not good that it's Nigeria that is giving her room to express, to show her talent? Because this girl you're seeing, if she travels abroad, naturalizes there, and decides to represent America in Miss Universe or Miss World or whatever, Americans don't care. All they want is results. It's black people that are representing Canadians, United Kingdom people, and it's black people that are representing them in the Olympics and some other things. So when the Westerners don't care, why is it us that care? I mean, you people should check it now. I think this is actually one of the major reasons why we seem backward. We are regarded as backward by the rest of the world. Because since they started calling Africa third world, like before I was born, now I've been born, I've gotten this old, and my country is still third world. My continent is still third world. Underdeveloped, developing. We need to do better as humans. Honestly speaking, we need to do better. We claim you are colonized by the whites or the Westerners. You take everything from them, their style of clothing, some of their behaviors. We take whatever it is they introduce, that they put out there. Oh, a lot of Africans want to emulate the whites. So you cannot emulate their freeness too. Because those guys, as long as this thing is going to give them money, as long as this thing is going to give them results, they don't care if you're African. Some people who have serious, crazy talents here in Nigeria that couldn't succeed in their own home country, whether in Nigeria or in any other part of Africa, that couldn't succeed. When they went there and, white people are looking at, the Westerners are looking at this guy and they're like, oh shit, he's got something. You know what? Let's keep him here. We're gonna keep him. And they offer him millions of dollars and my guy is like, yeah, I will not see this one in my home country. I will sit down here. And then he works and dedicates himself to the white man. And then you still us that will open our mouth and be saying, hey, this, hey, that. But can't you see that we're actually the ones doing ourselves? How we they do ourselves, last. And I want to ask a question. Is this whole thing, could it be because of, what's it called? Some people will say, it's what the colonial masters caused. This mentality, all this thing, you blame it on the colonial masters. Now, I'm going to tell you why that doesn't make sense to me. Because first off, The people that the colonial masters dealt with is our ancestors, hundreds or thousands of years back. Okay? It's them that it happened. It did not happen with our current generation. The people who are currently doing this whole thing, this whole tribalism, racism thingy within amongst ourselves, is not our forefathers. It's us. And the question now is why? How is the West? How is how are the Westerners, the colonizers, in quote, how are they still the ones that are the cause of our divide and all these things that we're doing? Because you can't tell me that maybe the what's it called, the ancestors, they've been reincarnated in us, and then we are them. For those of us that believe in reincarnation, okay, fine. If it is reincarnation, they are back, and we are them. And some of us remember our past lives. If that is the case, if that really is the case, how would you still know that, oh, this is what the colonial masters established, this is what they did, and you're still following it till now? Bottom line is, we need to do better. It's not pretty. This thing we're doing with ourselves is not pretty at all. So guys, I don't know, what do you think? What is your hot take on this particular issue? What do you think about this whole thing? And at the end of the day, is it right for Africans to decide to, be nonchalant or unbothered about whatever it is that is happening in, South Africa? Do you think it's still right? Anyways, I'd like to know your thoughts, and I will be in the comments section. If you liked this video, how about you click the like button? Do not forget to subscribe, and of course, share to your friends. So until next time, guys, this has been your wonderful host, Jesse Rogers, here again on The Kiwi Show. It was good to have you guys once again. And of course, until next time, when I'll be bringing you much, much more interesting topics, it's gonna be bye-bye for now. Mwah.